Hi guys, I'm meteorologist Alexandra Cranford getting you updated on what's going on as of 4 p.m. Sunday with Tropical Storm Beta. You can see Beta's center way over here just southeast of the South Texas coast. But look at what we're dealing with in South Louisiana. Still some rain, especially off the coast. And eventually we may see it pick up a bit as we get into perhaps late Monday night and into Tuesday. But so far today, everything is pretty light. So latest stats on what is still a Tropical Storm Beta. Winds are still unchanged at near 60 miles per hour for the max sustained winds. It's moving west-northwest, picking up just a tiny bit of speed at 6 miles per hour. Remember earlier today, the center kind of jumped to the west. So that's why we see it closer to the Texas coast now. And we are seeing some of the showers and storms which were off to the northeast kind of falling apart, and now we have some higher cloud tops in these grays and whites showing up on the southwest side of the system. So we'll see whether it can strengthen a bit more, but as we've been showing you, it really doesn't look like it will intensify more. In fact, it may weaken a bit as it approaches the Texas coastline, and I'll show you why in a second. Also, you can see some thunderstorms developing way away from the center, again off the coast of South Louisiana and south of other parts of the Gulf Coast, even farther off to the east. So the latest track on Beta, we're expecting it to move to the west as we get into tonight and tomorrow, and a landfall perhaps somewhere between roughly Corpus Christi and Houston may happen on Monday, perhaps late Monday into Tuesday. There is still some uncertainty. A couple of models still keep it a little bit off the coast at that time frame. A few take it a bit farther inland, so we will see. But right now it's looking like the consensus is getting into a little better agreement here with these models, showing it maybe making it inland a little bit more than was looking like a day or two ago, and then move and recurve to the east as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday. It may stay a tropical storm because it will still generally be fueled by some of these warm, moist, kind of the moisture stream from the Gulf of Mexico. But then it should become eventually a depression, perhaps by late Tuesday or early Wednesday. Note that the track does take it with a trough of low pressure out to the northeast with a rapidly weakening low pressure area by midweek. But here in South Louisiana, even though we're not looking for the center to move into our area, we are expecting still some effects. So just looking quickly at the radar right now, we have some along our coast and in Mississippi, but we've seen it subside a bit for many of our land areas. We were anticipating that for the second part of Sunday, but we're not quite finished with the rain yet. In fact, we'll have rain probably tomorrow and especially into Tuesday and Wednesday before Beta leaves us and our rain chances start to go down. Temperatures are only in the 70s, and look at these winds, not quite tropical storm force, of course, over our inland areas, and we aren't expecting that, but they have been gusty south of our coast and of course a bit off to the southwest. But we do have those windy conditions. A wind advisory continues for much of our area until roughly 7 p.m. But it does look like winds are beginning to slack off a bit, and that trend may continue tonight, although it will continue breezy tomorrow. This is new from the National Weather Service. They did issue a flash flood watch south of Lake Pontchartrain and off to the west for about 3 to 5 inches of rain. Here's what we're anticipating to happen by late Monday into Tuesday. Even though Beta's center is way off to the west of us, we may see some of those bands setting up. And we see this often with tropical systems. Way outside of the center, these feeder rain bands can set up over certain locations that look like they may not have anything to do with the actual center or the tropical storm or hurricane itself, but they do get some heavy rain from time to time. So this is mainly to account for the potential for that, which might happen. Again, it looks like maybe Monday night, Tuesday, or perhaps Tuesday night. And with those, it's very difficult to say exactly where they will set up. And it does make a difference, of course, whether it's 5 miles away or 10 miles away would make a big difference for the people who it's directly under. Here's the other effect. So we have the rain 3 to 5 inches. A good thing is that a lot of that may come nice and slow and steady for many of us. But again, the rain band scenario is where we would be concerned. So we'll be watching for that Monday night and Tuesday particularly. Also, with those winds that I just showed you, our tides are running 2 to 3 feet above normal. So we do have coastal flood warnings in effect for these South Shore locations in the darker green, and a little bit of a lesser advisory north of the lake and other spots in Mississippi and a bit farther off to the to the west. So we do have both of those coastal flood warnings and advisories in effect. And again, that's for those waters rising a bit. I was on the North Shore today, and I certainly noticed the water levels along some bayous were up. So you may be dealing with that. And that could be a prolonged thing since Beta is going to be moving pretty slowly and our winds won't change all that much, although it looks like they are weakening just a little bit as we move into Sunday evening. Rain totals today have no surprise been highest close to the coast where some of that heaviest rain has been showing up on radar. Thankfully, a lot of areas getting very manageable amounts of maybe a quarter inch, half inch, and that applies to New Orleans too, where we have seen some rain, almost like a wintry sort of feel. I thought we had the gray skies. Our temperatures were about 70. We're in New Orleans. We'll call that winter. Low 70s, by the way, are the average high temperatures for us in the middle of November. So we are actually seeing temperatures that are average, the 30-year average anyway, for the highs in certainly on toward the end of fall and almost to the beginning of winter. Water vapor imagery showing all of this dry air working in. And you can see it getting now, look at this, into the system, kind of getting wrapping around a little bit more. So when that happens, it does prevent it usually from strengthening a lot. So we will see. But the forecast now is not for it to intensify very much from here on out. Here's why we're thinking the steering, just to give you another look at that. Our upper level winds, and this is the high pressure here that will kind of build in, especially from sort of the Florida area, and will direct it as we get into the next couple of days off to the west. And then that little turnaround is because of this trough of low pressure that will move in and direct it eventually off to the northeast. Now, by this point, you can see the L spinning here. So it looks like by that point, it might be either a depression or a low pressure area. So really what we're seeing essentially with all of this for our area in southeast Louisiana, and really for much of the Texas coast too, will be the rain, the main thing to look for, and then also the tides for us running up to about 3 or so feet above normal with that inundation. So those are the main things that we'll be looking for. And aside from that, also just kind of breezy conditions. So again, what to expect? Here's what I would say. Expect more showers, maybe a few heavy rain bands here and there as we get into Tuesday, but mainly we're looking for rain in the 3 to 5 inch range for many of our inland spots. Could be higher than that near the coast though, I will say, through Wednesday. Coastal flooding and then the gray breezy conditions with mild weather in the 60s and 70s. Again, to me, that feels a little bit strange, and maybe some of us, I had a rain jacket on today, we're like, what is this? This doesn't feel like the end of September, but that is something that we're seeing as an effect from Beta. So there's Beta. Of course, this is the cone of uncertainty, although we're expecting it to stay the center of it as a weakening system, even way off to the northwest of us at this point. And there's still some uncertainty. I just want to throw that out there. We could see the track change a little bit. But at this point, that's how it's looking for the most part. And then we're also paying attention today. I know this seems like too much. We don't want to see this kind of graphic, but we are paying attention to another little swirl of low pressure. This is very small, and it looks like that trough and the setup over the northern Gulf is probably not going to allow this to develop. Note that in 2 days, it has a low, just barely 10% chance of development from the National Hurricane Center. In 5 days, it has the same thing. So we're not really expecting the chance for development to bloom up, but we'll see what happens when it gets over the Gulf, these warm Gulf waters. It looks like, again, these upper level winds are just not going to allow it to really strengthen a lot, but we will keep our eye on it for now. I know no one wants to see this. Can we block this out? If only we could. But that's not to say it's going to bring us really bad weather or anything like that. Just wanted to get you aware of that there is just one little spot also that we're watching. We also have way out in the Atlantic tropical depression Wilfred, and we also have Hurricane Teddy, a major hurricane, and we will cover that coming up in our shows tonight. But I just wanted to get you this quick update on what's going on with Beta. Again, for southeast Louisiana, mainly rain that we'll be watching for, and we'll also be looking for the coastal flooding with those breezy conditions through Wednesday. And if you're wondering when does it improve, by Thursday, I have rain chances maybe around 30–40%, maybe just a few showers, and then Friday into Saturday, even lower chances for rain. So I would say mainly through Tuesday night or early Wednesday will be mainly finished, it looks like, with the effects of Beta, aside from some rain perhaps continuing into the day on Wednesday. So that'll do it for now. Thank you for joining me. Catch up with us on our app, WWLTV.com, more on social media through the evening, and then we'll see you tonight at 10 p.m. on Channel 4.